Good evening and welcome to game number 3 for the weekend. Last game for the D1 team closing out the road trip. Gorman with a second matchup today against Desert Christian. Gorman will be wearing orange and Desert Christian in their white jerseys. Expect Laskoska, in net this evening as he closed out the game earlier today. Frustrating loss in shootout. Waiting for the referees to get us set up here. All right, about a minute and a half remaining in warm-up. Full roster for Gorman. Cash Johnson back on the ice after missing a few games. All right, fresh 17 on the board. Getting ready to kick off the first period. Starting lineup: Rubino, Trent, Westwood, Godino, and Davis. All right, we'll see how both teams do with a quick turnaround. Desert Christian with a very short bench, shorter by one, with a suspension, one player for too many penalties. Davison for the face-off. Desert Ridge wins that one, chips it across. Davis feeds it back out the other way. And they're going to call that one an icing. It made its way down. Both teams looking a little sluggish early on. And we'll see as the game picks up. Davison for the faceoff, wins it back into the far corner. Rubino chips it up, kept in play. Shot sent wide. Godino chips it out, trying to hit Westwood. Fired back the other way. Desert Christian will have to tag up. Trent out to Godino. Godino sends it down. Goaltender will stop that one, sends it out off a body. Loose out front. Godino sends it across, picked up by Desert Christian, and they will bring it back the other direction through the neutral zone. Dumps it in, goes on the forecheck. Number 16 for Desert Christian on the press. Baldy feeds it out to Westwood along the near side. Out to Godino, tips it, picked up by Desert Christian. Kerr and Johnson out there. Johnson loses an edge. Desert Christian comes back through, dodges a hit. Johnson on the back check, disrupts the breakout, forces him back in their zone. Cross ice pass out. Creel almost comes away with that one. Still harassing through, and that's going to be a penalty. And Creel going to head to the box as Gorman takes an early penalty. Correction, hooking. Posner heading to the box. All right, Gorman on an early penalty kill. Fish, Fitzy, Larison, then Luong. Puck back behind the goal line. Luong staples him to the boards. Comes out, fed out to the faceoff dot. Fish keeping him up high in the slot. Walked up, fed across, no one home. Desert Christian sends it out into the far corner. At the blue line, sends it out to the far wall, cycles through. Back down low, through the slot, through the crease, no one there. Poke check, couldn't clear. Gorman's gonna get there and wires it around the boards. Gonna get picked up at the blue line. Larison interrupts that one and sends it down the other way. Godino and Creel come in for Gorman forward set as Desert Christian regroups back behind their net. Rubino and Trent on defense. Penalty clock's not running. They just started the penalty clock. Gorman frustrated. Should be about 35 seconds left. They were given almost an extra minute. Shot comes out, save. Laskoska back at the blue line, kept in the zone. Posner out of the box and heads to the bench. They cleared it. They kept track of it manually. And we're back to 5-on-5. Westwood comes in, drop back across. Westwood comes in, breaks that one up. Poke checks it out. Creel on the forecheck. One-man arm, he dangles through, gets off, poke checked off by the skate. And puck launched in the air, glove down by Baldy, off the boards and through. Desert Christian pinned back on their side. Creel forcing a pass off the ref. Wired back down low. Christian brings it across. Shot goes wide. And my clocks aren't running either. There we go. And we have a penalty coming up. Baldy, penalty for tripping. Two early penalties for Gorman. 13:04 remaining. Fish, Creel, Rubino, and Trent pass out the other side. Shot from the faceoff dot, and that's a power play goal. And Desert Christian goes up by one. Godino, Westwood, Davis, Trent, and Rubino. Face-off coming up center ice. Davison for the puck drop. Comes out in favor of Gorman. Trent walks it up, makes the zone. Sends it back down low. Dave's going to get there for Gorman. Comes out to Westwood. Back out to Rubino. Westwood out to Rubino on the far side. Had to send it down low. Had a man on him. Davis sends it out to Westwood. Sorry, Westwood. Godino comes in, sends it to Trent. Keeps the zone. Godino sends it down low. Westwood Davis is coming in. Picked up in the slot by Desert Christian. And Desert Christian's going to bring it back the other direction with speed. Poke checked off by Trent. Trent needing some support. Chips it out. Davis comes in. Throws a hit. Bouncing puck. Off the glove. And Gorman gets the clear. And Desert Christian's going to have to tag up. Trent back behind the goal line. Out to Rubino. Chips it up to Klaus. Klaus on the forecheck. Makes the zone. He's got Westwood with him. Shot short side. Saved by Desert Christian. Puck wired down. No icing. Larison. Save Laskoska. And Gorman clears it off Bonifazio. Bonifazio brings that one around. He's got Larison with him as well as Tritton. Gets tied up. Couldn't get the shot off. And Klaus wires it back down the other direction. Goaltender sends it around the boards. And that's going to be an icing. 11:03 remaining in the first. Gorman with a few penalties. And Desert Christian up 1 as a result.
Are you on mute?
Shot loose out front, goes into the far corner. Chipped off the boards, kept in play. And fired back down the other way. That will be an icing. And it's kind of coming back into Desert Christian territory. Kerr, Creel, Cash Johnson, Posner and Baldy comes back to Posner, feeds it back down low. Sent around the boards. Creel going to get there for Gorman. Sent around the boards. That's going to make it out. Baldy on the back check. Brushes off the attacker. Out to Cash Johnson. Clears. Creel on the forecheck. Couldn't get there in time. Wired back. Posner. Chips it out. Off a body. And comes back the other way. Fish sends it in. Puck sent out to the near side. Desert Christian sends it wide. Opposite end. Rubino goes in with a hit. Rubino with the back check. Disrupts the shot. Clearing pass. Broken up by Desert Christian. Jennings drops it back to Fish. Fish walks it in. Shot. Off a skate. Goes wide. Feeds it back to the far wall. And that is a penalty as number 16 throws a hit from behind. Charging is the call. Let's see what they do on the scoreboard here. Power play unit coming out. Trent, Creel, Davis, Godino, and Westwood. First power play for Gorman. Called charging, trying to find out, refs trying to find out who's going where and what. And they're going to need another one. typically a 2 and a 10. Yeah, 10 and 2. As number 15 will come out to serve that penalty for charging. Godino in for the faceoff for Gorman. Runs it back out. Back out to the blue line. Trent gives it across to Godino. He's got 2 guys on, needs support. Bouncing puck clears. Westwood makes his own. Lost control and wired back the other direction. Trent on the back check. Skoska will hold the puck. Chip back to Godino. Pass out to the near side to Creel. Creel brings it through, lost control. And Desert Christian sends it up and away into the bleachers. 8:53 remaining. 1:26 on the power play. And we will have a neutral zone faceoff. Next power play unit out for Gorman: Jennings, Johnson, Klaus, Larison, and Fitzy. Jennings in for the faceoff. Johnson feeds it back to Klaus. Larison. Larison's got some space, brings it along the near wall. Shot. Loose out front. Cash Johnson there to support. Picks it up. Out to Jennings. Jennings feeds it out. Couldn't connect. And it's going to come on back. Gorman going to have to regroup in their zone. And 48 seconds left. Jennings through the neutral zone. Drops it back. Larison. Out to Klaus. High in the slot. Larison sends it wide. Klaus with a follow-up shot. Couldn't connect. Larison feeds it back the other way. Loose at the bumper. And sent out and cleared. Pass out to Larison. Misconnection there. Stretch pass out to Fitzy. Sends it in. Tritton gets there for Gorman. Sent around the boards, no one there, and we are back to 5-on-5. Kick back in by Rubino. Sent the other way, and that will be an icing. 7:24 remaining. Kerr, Bonifazio, Trenton, Rubino. Kerr in for the faceoff, wins it back to Trent, clean shot off stick and into the netting. Faceoff comes out in favor of Desert Christian. Pass through the crease, no one there for Gorman. Rubino working in the far corner, dodges a hit. Kerr comes in, flushes out the other side. Kerr drops it back, picked back up. Loose at the faceoff dot. Cleared. And as it brings it across the Gorman line, intercepted and picked up by Bonifazio. Chipped off the glass through the neutral zone. Tritton forces a pass back at the hash marks. Pass out, chipped in, and Desert Christian going to go for a partial change. Trent breaks up the pass. Rubino preventing the shot. Pass out to Godino, couldn't connect. Shot save off the pads. Trent. Godino takes a hit from behind. Picked up by Trent. Pass out to Westwood. Westwood sends it out to Godino, chips it. He had a man on him who intercepted. Westwood sends it in, takes a knee. Pass clears its way through, and that'll be an icing. Gonna come on back into Desert Christian territory. 5:48 remaining in the first. Fish, Fitzy, Jennings, Luong, and Baldy. Puck comes out. Baldy keeps it in play, sends it back down low. Cleared. Sent out to Fitzy, who dumps it in the opposite corner. Pass along the far wall, shoveled out, off the feet of Luong. Luong gets tied up. It's offsides, puck comes out to Jennings, makes his own. Trying to feed it across, kept in by Luong. Back out to Baldy, shot, glove save. 5:10 remaining in the first period. Gorman trailing by 1. Kerr in for the faceoff for Gorman, wins it out to Larison. In the slot, feeds it down low, picked up by Desert Christian and cleared. We got a man in motion. Posner on the back check, feeds through, cleared. Fish sends it out to Kerr. Sorry, Larison does. And sent back the other direction. Kerr on the back check. Posner forces it out wide. Stretch pass. Gorman couldn't connect. Desert Christian going to pick it up at their blue line, reload, and feed it back into Gorman's territory. Posner from back behind the net, out to Creel. Creel feeds it up, and in Klaus on the forecheck, gives a hit, heading in. Puck bouncing through the neutral zone and out. Trent gets a stick in there, shot on the short side, saved by Laskoska. And Trent out to Rubino, back to Trent. Gorman squeezes in to change. Pass out to Bonifazio, sends it across, looking for Tritton. Tritton couldn't get there in time. Misconnection. Klaus on the forecheck. Kept in by Tritton, feeds it through, loose in the crease. And the goalie there to dive on it. And Gorman will change it up. Strong shift there. Force a face-off. Outside the net. Dino, Davis, Westwood, Trent. And Rubino, Davis wins it back. Trent, shot, feeds it down low, it's loose out front. Picked up by Desert Christian. Davis on the back check. Couldn't get there. Rubino breaks it up. And Laskoska with the save. .327 remaining. Face-off coming up. Davison for the face-off. Picked up by Westwood. Westwood's got Godino. Sent around the boards. Godino working in the corner. Comes out to Desert Christian. Glove down by Davis. Feeds it back to Luong. Luong didn't have much room. Bouncing puck along the blue line. Broken up, still in possession by Desert Christian. Sent around the boards. Angled off the boards, clears out to Godino. Godino feeds it down low. Davis on the forecheck. Kept in by Godino. Poke checked out to the far wall. Back through, Davis with a hit along the bench. And Desert Christian comes back the other way. Interrupted by Westwood. Westwood makes it, drops it to Davis. Davis. Angled through. Luong comes in strong, pins him to the boards. Shot off the pad, still in Gorman zone. Shot off the stick of Davis, up, still in play, high on the glass. Gorman needing to clear here after a long shift. Out to Westwood. Westwood sends it. Couldn't clear it. Off the skate of Larison. Comes out to Davis. Davis shovels it. Kept in play again. Shot, save, follow up, glove. Nope, goal. And Desert Christian with a 2-goal lead. As we get to the final 2 minutes of the first period. Fitzy, Jennings, Fish, Posner, and Trent. Puck wins out to Trent. Out to Jennings, pinned along the boards. Trent back behind the net. Out to Fitzy, chips it out, back to Fish. Fish sends it up to Jennings, brings it in, sends it across, couldn't connect there. Desert Christian breaks out of the zone, has to reload back at the hash marks. Stretch pass out. And save Laskoska. Posner chips it off the glass, clears the zone. Fish on the forecheck. And they're going to call icing on this one. It's going to come on back to the opposite side. Kerr in for the face-off with Creel and Cash Johnson. Baldy feeds it back down low. Kerr is going to get there for Gorman. Sends it around the boards a little further. Creel near corner. Takes a hit. Johnson chips it back down low, out of reach. Desert Christian feeds it up, couldn't connect. Rubino chips it back out the other way. Johnson feeds it down low. Reversed. Rubino pinches up. Christian picks it up around the blue line and brings it back the other direction. Rubino comes in with a hit. Puck pinned along the boards. Desert Christian comes away with it, leaves it back, and that'll wrap it up for the first. Kicking off the second, Jennings, Fish, Fitzy, Larison, and Luong. Gorman trailing 2-0. Shots on goal, 8-4 in favor of Desert Christian. Loose at the feet. Fish feeds it out, picked up by Desert Christian. Makes his own, sends it on net, brushed aside by Laskoska. Fish lobs it down in. Jennings gives a hit back behind the goal line. Fitzy in the corner, feeds it out to Jennings. Fitzy shot, short side, stuffed. Feeds back at the blue line. Luong sends it across the Larson's got a man on him. Shot off the skate. Goes wide. Shot loose at the goal line in the crease. Picked up by Desert Christian. They bring it in. Shot loose out front. Fish picks it up at the hash marks. Is taken down from behind. Pass along the far side. Jennings gives a hit. That'll be a stoppage play here. Face-off coming up in the neutral zone. Godino, Davis, Westwood, Posner, and Trent. Puck comes out in favor of Gorman. Trent walks it up, goes to lob it in, and that goes up and out of play. This one, center ice. Davison for the faceoff. Comes out in favor of Desert Christian. Davis stick broke. Heads to the bench. And yours truly's weekend got a little more expensive. Puck lobbed down, picked up by Laskoska. And 3-on-2 the other way. Fed through, save Laskoska. Still loose, back to the other side. Picked up by Trent. Sent around the boards out to Westwood. Westwood's gonna carry it up. He's got Kerr with him. Makes his own, chips it in, picks it up on himself. Westwood grabbed, no call. And a punch now against Trent. Waved off. And the refs aren't calling much of anything. Stretch pass makes its way through. Shot, save. Baldy gives a hit through the crease. No one there for Desert Christian. Pass along the blue line. Christian shot, center mass, save. Laskoska. Klausen for the faceoff for Gorman. Off the far wall, kept in play, shot loose up front and covered. Face-off comes out in favor of Gorman. Larison chips it, trying to clear. Glove is down. Larison back behind the net. Out to Cash Johnson, bouncing puck through the middle, out to Creel. Creel sends it in, picked up by Desert Christian. Both players tied up. Cash Johnson keeps it in the zone, feeds it across to Klaus, couldn't connect. Broken up by Creel. Johnson leaves it back for Creel. Creel drops it to Luong. Out in the far corner. Needs someone to drop back for Gorman at the blue line. Klaus subs in. Shot goes wide. Shot coming from Creel from the far wall. Luong sends it down. Comes out to Fish. Far wall. Fish shot through the crease, just wide. Larison shovels it back down low. Long shift. Shot. Cash Johnson through his lone legs and picked up by the goaltender. Face-off coming up in Desert Christian territory. Fish, Fitzy, Jennings, Larison, and Luong. Puck comes out in favor of Desert Christian. Sends it around the boards to Luong. Wires it in, off a skate. Chipped up. And opportunity, that's going to be offsides. Game getting chippy, still not even halfway through. Desert Christian center waved off. Fish in for the face-off. Comes out in favor of Desert Christian. Chip through. Stuffed at the blue line. Fitzy sends it out. No one there for Gorman. Wired back in the other way. Off the glove and covered. Face-off coming up in Gorman territory. Fish in for the face-off, comes out in favor of Desert Christian. Back to the blue line, shot, tipped wide. Jennings getting there for Gorman on the far wall. Pinned along the boards, comes away with it, cycles it around down low. Larison chips it across, trying to hit Fish in motion. Makes its way there. Kicked up by Jennings. And Gorman has a penalty in their favor coming up. Desert Christian looking for an explanation. And going through the whodunit. And the answer is number 15 for Desert Christian. All right, Trent, Creel, Westwood, Davison, Godino in for the power play. 12:06 remaining in the second. Gorman trailing 2-0. Godino into the faceoff. Wins it out, a little too good, and it's going to roll all the way back. Skoska leaves it behind for Trent. He's it out, far side. Creel on the wall, drops it back, chip back down low to Davis, and cleared. Laskoska comes out, sends it wide. Back out to Creel, poke checked off his stick. And he's gonna cycle back, he's got a man on him. Off the skate of Creel, Godino trying to stuff it down low, tied up. And that's gonna be a penalty on Gorman as they send their goalie to the bench. Westwood comes in. And we have 2 penalties now. And we'll start counting numbers here. Godino will head to the box for Gorman. And we'll have a little bit of 4-on-4. Fish, Larison, Fitzy, and Luong out along the far wall, picked up by Luong. Out to Larison. Fish, pass broken up off a skate. Misconnection there, turned over. Sent around, and Gorman officially on the penalty kill. Minute and a half. Fish, one-on-one the other way. Shot. Dropped as Gorman squeezes in a change. Sent around the boards, picked up by Fish. Fish cycles it back the other way. Desert Christian feeds it back up to the point. Cross-ice pass, couldn't connect, still in the zone. And puck comes out the other way. Fish still on the ice. On the back check. Christian makes Gorman territory, drops it back. High in the slot. And penalty coming up on Desert Christian. And number 17 will head to the box. Desert Christian as well as Fitzy for Gorman. 32 seconds left on the initial penalty. We'll wait and see how this one is mathed out. Gorman has 4. Fitzy and one other player both going to the bench. Those will offset. 32 seconds left on the Gorman penalty. 5-on-4. That comes out in favor of Desert Christian. Baldy forces a pass around the near boards. Creel and Westwood and Larison, rest of the PK unit. Westwood pins it along the boards. Christian feeds it out. Back up high on the point. Near side, walked up, fed through, off the skate, goes wide. Back down low, 7 seconds remaining. Picked up by Westwood, chipped up, couldn't clear. And Godino back on for Gorman, chipped out. Godino, fresh out of the box. Forces a pass, he's got Creel out front. Shot, glove save. .817 is what we have on the scoreboard. And the second period, there will be an ice cut between the second and third. Godino, Davis, Westwood, Trent, and Posner. And for the face-off is Godino. Puck comes out, Posner, shot off the glove, and glove down. Puck comes out, near side, sent around the boards. Westwood working back behind the goal line. He's got Davis posted out front. Westwood and Godino working in the corner. Sent across, no one there for Gorman. Chipped up. Trent, lone defenseman, Davis on the back check. Trent dangles it through, feeds it. Godino trying to clear. Out to Trent. Trent and Westwood at the blue line. Shot, loose out front. Back behind the net. Westwood shot, save by Desert Christian, still loose. Goal! And Westwood closes the gap to 1. With an even strength goal. Shots on goal, 17-10 in favor of Desert Christian. 7:19 remaining in the second period. Gorman still in it. Puck comes out in favor of Fish, sends it in. Back behind the net, the goaltender chips it out. Jennings, Johnson for your forward set. Comes out to Johnson. Johnson chips it up and around. Jennings there for Gorman. Takes a hit in the corner. Rubino and Luong at the blue line. Chipping it up. Desert Christian on the forecheck. Fish with a huge hit along the near boards. Pass broken up by Cash Johnson. Shot off the body, comes out. Jennings on the back check. Cash Johnson drops it back for Fish. Sends it through the crease, no one there for Gorman. And 2-on-1 the other way, back checking Luong. Shot save, Laskaska. As the ref separates players behind the goal line. .6:15 remaining in the second for the ice cut. Klaus, looks like he's in for the face-off, and we have a quick conversation happening at the Gorman bench with the referees. Baldy, Klaus, Tritton, Bonifazio, and Larison in for the D-zone face-off. All right, we're back to play. Brief conversation, sharing Christmas lists. Klaus drops it back. Larison, Baldy, bouncing puck. Picked up by Klaus, 3-on-2 the other way. Klaus sends it across to Tritton. Tritton shot off the post. And back checking the other way. Klaus breaks it up on the back check. Sends it into the corner, gives a hit. Cross-ice pass broken up, still in play. Bonifazio pins him to the boards, comes out to Larison. Larison chips it, glove, hand pass, and that'll be a stop of play. Godino, Trent. Posner, Davis, and Westwood here for the neutral zone faceoff. 5:41 remaining before the ice cut. Davis, no, Godino in for the faceoff. Wins it out, Posner. Pass out to Godino, near side. Brings it wide, through the middle. Picked up, Davis keeps it in play, flips it up in the air off the stick, still in the slot. Comes back out to Davis. Davis sends it around the boards. Westwood, back to Godino. Westwood sends it across high in the slot. Shot, goal! And Tommy Trent ties it up 2-2 with 5:12 remaining in the second period. And Gorman is back in it. Puck comes out in favor of Gorman. Cass Johnson shovels it in. Fish, nope, Kerr and Creel, Luong and Rubino. Drop back, Luong chips it back down low. Creel working in the corner. Puck sent out, down low, they'll have to tag up. Out of reach of Gorman defense. Tipped down by Johnson. Johnson chips it. Reversed back the other way. Luong going to try the other side to Rubino. Tips it out to Creel. Takes a hit. Kerr sends it in. Gives a hit. And it's going to get a little out of hand here. Larison comes in, breaks up the zone entry, still in play. Poke checked off. Recovered by Desert Christian. Shot. Save. 3:58 remaining. Some punches thrown. And number 27 throws a bunch of punches and flies out back to the bench before he can get caught. Larison comes in as the disruptor. Lots of sharing of recipes from the Canadians on the Desert Christian team. I believe about 60% of that team billeted out of Canada. And we have a misconduct call coming up for Team Canada. made said a couple things to the referees. .358 remaining. And now he's being escorted out of the game. And wait and see how we handle this here. .358 remaining in the second period. Tied game. 2-2. Shots on goal 18-15 in favor of Desert Christian. Christian down one player coming into the game with too many penalties on the morning win over Gorman. And another player down here with words exchanged with the refs, as they'll typically say, just don't argue with the refs. They don't have anybody serving the penalty. Gorman expected to have a power play here, but the player ejected. Pass brought out wide, stuffed by Posner, chipped up. Fitzy sent out wide. Jennings on the back check, the forecheck. And Team Canada brings it the other way. Fish there. Sends it back out to Fitzy. Fitzy drops it out to Jennings along the near wall. Feeds back out to Posner. To Trent, fresh off a goal. Walks it up. Chips it down low. And Desert Christian brings it the other way. Pass across the blue line. Loose. No one there, and that is going to clear. Long shift for Jennings. Gorman squeezes in a full change. Klaus forces a pass, errant pass, and that will be an icing with 2:49 remaining in the second period. Shots on goal, 18-15 in favor of Desert Christian. And we'll have a face-off coming up in Team Canada territory. Gorman wins it back. Tritton feeds the blue line. Out to Baldy, he's got room. Shot off the body, loose. Baldy wires it back down low. Klaus there for Gorman, overshot it. Desert Christian brings back the other way. Brushed aside, through the crease, covered, loose, ushered out, shot, goal. Canada back up by one. Godino, Creel, Westwood, Trent, and Rubino. Rubino's got room, walks it up, sends it down low. Chipped up, off the feet of Rubino. Desert Christian walks it back into the far corner. Comes out to Creel, couldn't chip it out, glove down, hand pass, and they'll blow this one dead. And Larison and his dance partner, Team Canada, heading back to the bench after a brief timeout. And they must not have doors up north. Penalty box door closed, and we will resume play. Puck comes out. Desert Christian walked up. Shot. Brushed aside. Follow-up shot. Save. Laskaska. Puck comes out to Rubino. Near side. Chips it off the boards to Creel. Creel takes a hit. Sends it down low to Westwood. Westwood in the corner. Sent around the boards. Trent in the corner. Trent walks it around, feeds it back out to the far wall. Godino in the corner. He's got a man on him, sends it out to Westwood. Short side, loose out front, tipped off the body. 2-on-1 the other way, back checking Westwood. Poke checked out, kicked up by Westwood. Westwood overshot it. Godino introduces a player to the Gorman bench. And Creel send it down in the zone to go for a change. Fish. And Johnson in for Gorman. Puck cleared. Chipped off, kept in play. And Luong going to regroup that one back at the hash marks. Pass out to Larison near side. Fed through, out of reach. And that will be an icing with 28 seconds left in the second period. Shot, short side. Still loose. Puck out along the far side. Poke checked out by Fish. Kerr on the forecheck. Comes out to Cash Johnson. Shot off the blocker. Still in play. Lobbed up. Glove down. Loose out front. And Desert Christian brings it back the other direction. Kerr on the back check. And wisely decides not to send it at the net. All right, that'll wrap it up for the first two periods of the game. Desert Christian creeping back up with a 1-goal lead. Score of 3-2 heading into the ice cut. Shots on goal 21-17 in favor of Desert Christian. right, getting ready to kick off the third period. Desert Christian with a 3-2 lead over Gorman on the final game of the road trip. Shots on goal, 21-17 in favor of Desert Christian. Gorman with 2. Alan Westwood with the opening goal for Gorman, assist from Tommy Trent. And the second goal, Tommy Trent with an assist from Alan Westwood and Anze Godino. Both teams taking the ice. Get a minute or so to stretch before kicking this one off. Skoska in net for Gorman. All right, starting lineup for the third. Kerr, Creel, Johnson, Larison, and Luong. Skoska in net. Gonna start this out 5-5. Opening face-off coming up. Kerr for the puck drop. Gorman wins it out, near side, Luong walks it up, lobs it in. Goalie's there, break that one up, fishes it back behind his net. Chipped up and cleared. No icing. Larison and Johnson working in the corner. Luong feeds it back out to Kerr. Kerr gets tied up. Looking for a passing option, feeds out to Creel, kick back down low. Sent around the boards. Luong back behind the goal line to Kerr. Out far side. Luong back to Larison. Pass out to Creel, chips it in, still in play. Bouncing puck, Davis Godino, Baldy. Davis goes on the forecheck. Bouncing puck, kept in play. Desert Christian brings it back the other way. Poke checked off. And we have a penalty coming up on Desert Christian. Face-off coming up in the D zone as number 14 heads to the box for Desert Christian. Davis, Godino, Creel, Westwood, and Trent. Skoska will stop that one. Back in Gorman's territory, drops it back to Trent. Trent near side, through the neutral zone. Hooked off the stick, fed back down low. Creel picks it up in the far corner, feeds out to the blue line. Godino high in the slot, feeds it to Westwood in motion. Davis out front. Top right was open just over the post, over the bar. And that's going to get cleared by Desert Christian. Westwood to Godino. Back out to Westwood. Off the boards. Davis outside the crease. Trent walks it up. Back out the shot, loose. Through the legs of Davis, couldn't connect on that one. Shot off Davis. Back behind the net. Davis chips it off the boards of Godino. Godino walks it up along the goal line. He's got Davis posted out front. Shot, loose. Davis hit off a stick and goes out for the clear. Gorman going to get a change in. Left behind. Save outside the net by Laskoska. Jennings in. Cash Johnson. Larson walks it up. It gets tied up. Shot off the side of the net. Fed through. Kept in by Fitzy. Shot. Glove save. As Jennings gets a pat on the back for his effort. 14:02 remaining in the third. 17 seconds left on the Gorman power play. Fitzy, Jennings, Johnson, Luong, and Larison. Shot Jennings off the body, loose up front, fed up by Johnson just wide of the net. Luong sends it back down low, makes his way to Johnson. Takes a hit in the corner. Jennings brings it along the near side, cycles back around. Desert Christian comes away with it, and Jennings is going to head to the box for a tripping. Number 77 going for a reverse check, jumping in the air, Luong. Sent around the boards. And that'll be a stoppage of play. Gorman going on the penalty kill. 13:20 remaining. Creel, Fish, Rubino, Baldy. Fish in for the faceoff. Comes out in favor of Desert Christian. Back to the blue line. Far side wall. Deflected wide. Brought back down behind the goal line. Far wall. Sent back down low. Up high. Shot. Off Fish. And Desert Christian now going to head to the box. Or not. No, no penalty. Gorman's still on the PK. A neutral zone face-off. Godino, Westwood, Posner, and Baldy. Comes out in favor of Desert Christian. Goalie had to field that one, and net came off as the goalie had to dive for that one on a mishandled pass in their zone, reminiscent of the goal earlier today for Creel on a mishandled pass between the goaltender and the defenseman. Dino, Westwood, Posner, and Trent. Desert Christian comes away with that one. Bouncing puck the other way. Trent scoops in to grab that one. Gorman on the penalty kill. Bouncing puck down off the body of Godino. Got 2-on-1 with Westwood. Beats it through. Westwood almost pokes that one in. And Desert Christian brings it back the other way. Beats it through in the slot. Back through. Poke checked off by Westwood. Gets picked up by Godino and cleared down the opposite side. Goalie's going to leave that one. No passing this time. Just back, picked up by Godino. Westwood assisting up high. Need to come back. Shot off the skate of Larison. Off the pads. Chipped across out to Westwood. And he's an opportunity on the forecheck. He's got a man on him coming up. Shot. And goalie able to come away with that one with 11:33 remaining in the third. .12 seconds left on the Gorman penalty kill. Kerr heading back to the bench. Too many men for Gorman. Creel, Fish, Luong, and Larison. Puck comes out. Back behind the net by Desert Christian. 4 seconds left on the Jennings penalty. Skate, shot, pass off the skate. Creel feeds it to Jennings. Jennings sends across. Goaltender covers. .11 remaining. Shots on goal. Tied 21-21. Kerr, Creel, Johnson, Posner, and Rubino. Kerr in for the faceoff. Wins it back out to the corner. Posner feeds it back down low to Creel. Creel trying to hit Kerr. Makes it the connection. Kerr couldn't get the shot off. Sends it out to Rubino. And 2-on-1 the other way. And misconnection from Desert Christian. Kerr chips it across, out to Creel. Creel clears into the neutral zone. Wired in by Desert Christian. Koska keeps it back for Posner. Puck comes out. Kerr feeds it out near boards. Johnson wires it in off a helmet, off the glove of the goalie. Tritton on the forecheck. Broken up by Cash Johnson. Trent in the neutral zone, backhands it in. Fish with a hit back behind the goal line. Breakout pass off the skate of Trent. And Baldy, the pass out to Tritton. Tritton's got an opportunity here. Short side, save. And feeds it across. Glove down by Baldy. And Fish brings it back the other way. Drops it back to Fitz. He couldn't connect with all the traffic. And Godino coming up behind. Broken up by Davis. Davis sent in by Godino. Davis with a hit, takes him off the puck. Desert Christian wires it the other way. They'll need to tag up. Luong near boards, brings it in, shovels it across. It's going to get picked up by Desert Christian. Pass across the hash marks, out in the far side, breaks it into the zone. Shot off a few legs, goes wide, fed back out to the blue line. Shot off the side of the net. Stuffed comes around the other side. Larison to Godino. Godino chips it across, trying to hit Westwood, and that's going to be no icing. Westwood sends it out. Bonifazio shot, blocked off a stick. Desert Christian sends it around back behind their net. 8:10 remaining in the third. Desert Christian's pass broken up. Loose out front. Bonifazio couldn't recover to get the shot off, and they will ice it. Squeeze in a change. Klaus, Jennings, Rubino, Larison, and Creel. Klaus in for the faceoff, comes out. Gorman keeps it in play, chipped around the boards by Creel to Jennings. Jennings at the goal line. Got Klaus posted out front. Rubino gets tied up, couldn't get the shot off. Shot short side, off skate, back behind the net, over the stick of Klaus. And Desert Christian feeds along the near boards, makes it pass through the middle. Pass broken up by Larison. Recovered by Desert Christian. Larison with a hit. Unable to clear. Shot goes just over the net, deflected by a body. Rubino sends it across, off a body, still in Gorman's zone. Pinned along the board, 7:05 remaining. Gorman fighting against the clock. Desert Christian comes away with it. Sends it out wide. Walks it in. Picked up by Larison. Larison chips it up to Creel. Picked off. Desert Christian feeds it back across. No one there. Sent around the boards at the feet of Rubino. Rubino chips it off the glass. That's going to be an icing. And we'll just hold the camera here and spare you the motion sickness. Shots on goal, 21-22 in favor of Desert Christian. With 6:36 remaining. Face-off coming up in Gorman D zone. Kerr, Posner, Bonifazio, Johnson, and Baldy. Baldy sends it out to the far boards. Ref in the way. Kerr comes into support. Baldy sends it out to his D partner. Posner ushers that one up into the body of Kerr. And Desert Christian comes away with it. Broken up by Gorman. Shot off the pads. Still in play. Shot goes wide. Cass Johnson pokes it up. Couldn't clear. And Baldy in the near corner. Sends it around to Johnson. Got Bonifazio in motion. Lobs it up and out. No icing on this one. Davison for Gorman. Stretch pass out. Dumped in. Westwood's going to get there for Gorman. Back behind the net. Bonifazio heads in. Godino out. Trent makes his own. Dangles through. Finding some room, looks for support, sends it around. Westwood on the far boards. Davis comes in to support back behind the goal line, picked up by Desert Christian. Angled off the board. Trent on the back check. Luong, lone defenseman in position there. Sent around the boards. Davis is going to get there for Gorman. Davis kicks it out. Trent looking for space. Out to Luong in the far corner. Sent across. Desert Christian shot. Loose out front. Fed back out. Shot goes wide. Puck clears. And they'll send it around the boards and go for a change. Stretch pass out. Glove down. Kicked up. And reversed the other way. Shot off the post. Fed back through. Westwood has an opportunity, one-on-one the other way. Shot off the back of the skate behind the legs and comes out. No goal. Westwood battling Godino out front. Fish comes in. Got a penalty coming up. Fed through. Tied up. Couldn't get the shot off. Koska heads to the bench. All right, 3:53 remaining. Gorman's going to go on the power play. as number 7, just 7, will head to the box for Desert Christian. Gorman to go on the power play. 2 minutes on the board with 3:53 remaining in the third. Power play unit: Klaus, Larison, Fitzy, Johnson, and Jennings. Jennings in for the faceoff. Gorman with opportunity to tie it. Gorman wins it out to Larison. Fitzy feeds it down to the bumper. Shot through the crease. Jennings at the bumper position. Larison couldn't close that one off. And we'll have to go back and fetch with Laskoska. Larson's got some room. He's going to bring it through. Dekes through. Walks it up. Gets tied up. Couldn't get the shot off. Sent around the boards. And that'll clear. Klaus recovers in the neutral zone. And he'll get pushed out. He's got a guy on him. Pass out to Johnson. Makes the zone. And cleared by Desert Christian. Desert Christian, the only one there for Gorman's closest to it. And player went down on it. So they're going to blow that one dead. With 1:07 remaining on the power play for Gorman. 3 minutes even in the third. Well, the face-off coming up in Gorman territory. Creel, Godino, Davis, Trent, and Westwood. Davis in for the face-off. Davis wins it back into the near corner. Trent. Trent through the middle. Brings it out wide. Feeds it up high. Godino brings it up down low. Westwood trying to hit the bumper position. And goalie's going to dive on that one. Davis and Creel down low out front the crease. Johnson coming in for Creel with 2:37 remaining and 45 on the power play. Johnson in for the faceoff, wins it out to the wall. Fed back out to Godino. Far side to Trent. Shot by Westwood off the mask of the goaltender and cleared. That is on net. Laskoska there to stop it for Trent. Stretch pass out to Westwood, makes the zone. Feeds it back down low, not enough. And Trent back at the goal line. Stretch pass out to Westwood off a skate. Picked up by Desert Christian. Picked up by Godino. Gorman tags up in time. And the door is open. Again, questioning the use of doors up north. Face-off coming up. Gorman wins the face-off. Luong sends it out to Baldy. Broken up pass, loose in the slot. Picked up by Baldy. Feeds it through, turned over, high in the slot. Shot up and over the net. Picked up by Fish. Couldn't field on bouncing puck. And Desert Christian fires it back the other direction. Baldy going to recover back in his zone. Fish comes in motion. Feeds it across. Hits Jennings. Literally. And cleared through. 1:10 remaining. Trent with a goal earlier in the game. Walks it through. Far wall. Dangles. Stick lift. And Desert Christian clears the other way. Bring it through. Makes the zone. Fitzy poke checks that one off. Picked up by Luong. 48 seconds left. Fish to Jennings in the zone. Jennings, goaltender. We got an empty net for Gorman. Off Godino, and they're going to blow that one dead on offsides. Empty net for Gorman. 31 seconds left in the third. Timeout, Gorman. Gorman gonna stay on with one extra attacker. 31 seconds remaining. Gorman with 6 on the ice. Fish, Creel, Godino, Larison, Westwood, pass. Westwood sends it around. Picked up by the goaltender, sends it around the near side. Bouncing puck through the neutral zone. Gonna get picked up by Larison. Larison breaks up the shot. And Godino comes into support. 10 seconds left. Bouncing pass. And empty net goal for Desert Christian. With 2.7 seconds remaining. And they're just going to let this one end where it's at, run it out. Nothing good will happen in the last 3 seconds, and that'll close out the weekend for Gorman. All right, 4-2 final score. Shots on goal, 26-22 in favor of Desert Christian. Goal from Westwood and Trent. As a reminder, Thanksgiving wouldn't be Thanksgiving if you didn't have a bunch of hockey there to mess it all up. Gorman will be playing over Thanksgiving, on Thanksgiving, and through the holiday weekend in the Silver Sticks on home ice at the Las Vegas Ice Center. Those games will be on this channel, barring any technical difficulties. That will kick off the 18U AA division, where the D1 Gales are playing at. Will kick off Thanksgiving Day, 7:25 a.m. As you're prepping the turkey, prepping the rest of the meal, you'll be able to watch the boys play. For those that can't be there in person, that'll be the only game that day for the D1 Gales, and they will pick up on Friday on their next game. That game will be at 5:30 p.m. Pacific time. on the 28th against the Sherwood Park Oilers. And the final round robin game for that tournament will take place on Saturday, the 29th, 12:45 p.m. As I recall, the remaining games for that tournament will take place and kick off Saturday evening, and the finals, quarter, semi, and championship games would take place on Sunday. That said, that'll wrap up this weekend, and we will see you next time.